What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Janet Jackson is getting flamed on social media right now by Kamala Harris supporters, Democrats, because of something that she said about Kamala Harris in an interview with The Guardian. Now, the singer-songwriter, first let me say this first before I forget. For all of the insensitive people out there right now, condolences to Janet Jackson for the recent loss of her brother Tito. All these people that are cussing her out and all that, these so-called humanitarians that think they're better than everybody else. She just lost her brother unexpectedly to a heart attack. So my condolences to Janet Jackson and the other members of the Jackson family. And I hope your mother is doing well, Catherine. She's 94 years old. She's getting up there. So best wishes to her. So anyway, Janet Jackson is going to do a Together Again tour, which is set. Actually, I take that back. She's already doing a tour, which is going to end next month. So she was talking about this ongoing Together Again tour, and she was talking to The Guardian on this weekend podcast, and the conversation turned toward this election. And when the reporter noted that America may be on the verge of voting for its first black female president, Janet Jackson stopped the interviewer, and shared her thoughts. And she said, well, you know what they supposedly said? She's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. Now, when asked again if she thought America was ready for a president who was a woman of color, Jackson admitted she wasn't sure. She said, I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to answer that question because I really truthfully don't know. I think either way it goes, it's going to be mayhem. Now that I agree with, especially if Trump loses. I think there are going to be some incidences, but I want to focus on this part. Now, a lot of people are attacking her, saying she's ignorant, she's dumb. How do you not know that she's not? She's black and all this stuff. The thing about it is, not everybody is as immersed in politics as other people. And a lot of people rely on certain sources, okay? I'm assuming that Janet Jackson probably listens to a lot of black-leaning outlets, news media outlets. I'm assuming that because I don't really see the mainstream media pointing out, issues with Kamala Harris's authenticity with the community, black community. But this is the thing that kills me, though. If we say Candace Owens ain't black, Jason Whitlock ain't black, right? Jesse Peterson ain't black, we're not saying that they aren't genetically black. We're saying that they don't have the best interest of the black community at heart, and that they basically sold out to and look for the interests of others. You know what we're talking about. So when people say Kamala Harris ain't black, they're really talking about how she, as a prosecutor, wielded her office in a way that hurt the black community in the Bay Area and then ultimately California. And the fear is that she's going to be insensitive to the black community again, but in a much larger swath as president. You know what I mean? There's concern about that. She doesn't have any real connection to the community. When she was elected senator in 2018, I think it was, and when she was elected the top cop in California, the California Attorney General, all the headlines said first Asian American, first Indian American. Then when it's convenient, now all of a sudden she's black. That's what people are talking about. And by the way, I understand that she is part black because her father is uh, a black Jamaican, right? I think the father was a black Jamaican. I think the mother was Indian, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think. But the thing is, just because someone's from Jamaica doesn't make them black. There are ethnicities in Jamaica outside. See, everybody, this is like saying, well, it's kind of insulting to say just because someone's from Jamaica, they're black. See, people got this image of Jamaicans as all being like extras from the Steven Seagal movie. You know, Rastafarians. They think that's all that's in Jamaica, but you have white Jamaicans. So that's not enough just saying she's Jamaican. But now Janet Jackson is incorrect here. She genetically does have traces, roots to black ancestry, or however you want to look at it, African ancestry, whatever. The question is her ties to the black community. And to be honest with you, most people in power who are so-called black don't really have the best interests of the black community at heart, to be honest with you, man. They don't. And I've said it before. Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, if she gets elected, but she's already vice president, Ketanji Brown Jackson, all these individuals, there's a link there. They have to show solidarity behind the majority in some venue. Anybody who is collectively and just totally for our community, they're not going to go too far. Even the ones like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, the powers to be, in my opinion, those who do seem to have connections to the black community, purely black community, I suspect that they have compromised information on them that could be used against them at any time. So if they turn against the power structure as a whole, it's going to be used against them to destroy them. But that's speculation on my part. But yeah, man, I see people going in on Janet Jackson behind this, saying she's ignorant, she's a ditz. How she don't know this? Well, I mean, look, people sometimes don't know things, you know, just like how a lot of people mistakenly think that the KKK started under Republicans. Now, I get it. I know the history. I know that the Democratic Party is not the same Democratic Party of 150 years ago. I get that. And you could argue, you know, if you want to be simplistic about it, there was a quote unquote switch in the 60s, but it wasn't that simple. But what happened was the Republican Party in the 1960s basically took advantage of the civil rights movement. They gave up on black people in the 1960s and started going after Southern, let's be honest, Southern white racists and bigots. They started going after them. They started playing the race angle to their best, to their electoral advantage, and it worked for a couple of decades. It worked from 1968 until the 2000s. The Republicans had decided advantage in presidential elections. They became a dominant party in the South. But as the country has become a lot more diverse, it doesn't work as well. And now they have to resort to gerrymandering. They have to resort to voter suppression tactics to stay in power or to win elections. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, man. Yeah, Janet Jackson's wrong, but you know, technically she's wrong, but that just goes to show you how Kamala just doesn't have any ties with us. Black people don't know about her. This was a woman who just 2 months ago was seen as a drag on the party. Now, miraculously, all of a sudden now she's Barack Obama, the female Barack Obama 2.0, or the female Barack Obama, I should say. Now, all of a sudden, she's this inspirational candidate. And that just goes to show you, you know, in my opinion, a lot of people are sheep. Oh, yeah. I'm also seeing a lot of casual. The thing that kills me about a lot of liberals is they love to showcase their racism, so you know, on a low. They try to slip it in there, like with Mark Robinson, that idiot, that super that super banjo playing Steven from Django wannabe. I'm noticing a lot of liberals was saying stuff on forums like, I bet you he was the one eating the cats and dogs and stuff like that, right? And I see a lot of black people laughing at that. I'm like, funny if this was a Republican, you would have called them a super racist, even though Mark Robinson's a piece of crap. So they like to slide it in there and they think they can get those little shots off. That's still racist, whether you despise Mark Robinson or not. What you just said was racist as hell. You got to call it racism whenever it's put out there, whether it's a coon ass Republican. Should have said that. Whether it's a buck dancing ass Republican or a buck dancing ass Democrat. But anyway, yeah, Janet, you made a little mistake. You know, she does have black ancestry or African ancestry or however you want to term you want to use, because people are so sensitive to terminology. Even though they know what the hell I mean. So yeah, technically you're wrong, but you know, your statement speaks of how this woman just have no connections with our people. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.